Well, phase 2 of Indian parliamentary elections over and out. Almost 33% of Indian parliamentarians in this next Lok Sabha, their fates are sealed in the EVM boxes. A quick look at phase 2 of this elections, 88 seats. Remember, there were 89, one seat in Betul being shifted to phase 3 of elections. A quick look at how elections across those 88 seats were held today. Purely in terms of which were the states. 12 states and 1 union territory went to the polls. A quick look at the India map on how these states have been. 88 seats, voting taking place on the 26th of April, that's today, the big counting day, the 4th of June. These are the 12 states, 13 states and union territories. When you shift and take a look, this is the India map. The big states that you're talking about: Kerala 20 seats, Karnataka 14, Rajasthan 13. Rajasthan elections are over. Madhya Pradesh 6, Maharashtra 8, Uttar Pradesh 8. Moving to the east, you've got Assam with 5 seats. You've got Chhattisgarh, West Bengal both having 5 seats. Bihar having 5 seats. Manipur, Tripura along with Jammu having 1 seat each. That totally put together has close to 88 seats in this elections. From the north, you've got 1 seat in Jammu, you've got 8 seats in Uttar Pradesh, and this is the western UP belt, and this is where the big battle has been played out. The western part, Rajasthan, elections getting over in Rajasthan. Maharashtra, the Vidarbha and Marathwada belt, the Vidarbha belt getting over completely. 3 seats in Marathwada belt where elections have taken place. Moving to the central part of India, Madhya Pradesh 6 seats, Chhattisgarh 3 seats. Chhattisgarh 4 seats are now over. The first phase at Bastar getting over. Madhya Pradesh continuing with that same progress that you saw in phase number 1 and phase number 2. Another southern state, Kerala, phase 1, Tamil Nadu got over. Phase 2, Kerala getting over, all 20 seats gone. Karnataka, 14 seats in phase number 2. Phase number 3, another 14 seats, and Karnataka will be done. The eastern part of India, Bihar 5, Assam 5, West Bengal 3, Manipur, Tripura completing that 88 seats for you in this particular election phase. A quick look at the star candidates. Okay, before that, the top 5 states were polling. These are still not official numbers, but we are holding on to these numbers. They are numbers till 5 p.m. Tripura, Manipur, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh and Assam, where the numbers are good. The numbers surprisingly bad. Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, they continue to trouble. And we've seen that a similar trend in phase 1, phase 2 continuing. The big ticket, the star candidates in the election fray, Bhupesh Baghel from Rajnandangao. Remember, that's Raman Singh's base from where Bhupesh Baghel, the former chief minister of Chhattisgarh, fighting. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat from Jodhpur, another union minister. Navneet Kaur Rana fought as an independent in 2019. This time around, fighting on a BJP ticket there from Amravati. Union minister, former union minister Mahesh Sharma there from Gautam Budh Nagar. Danish Ali, another face from Amroha, this time fighting on a Congress ticket. Dushyant Singh, the son of Vasundhara Raje there from Jalawar in Rajasthan. The speaker of the Lok Sabha, the 17th Lok Sabha, Om Birla from Kota. Arun Govil, cine star who played the role of Ram, fighting from Meerut. This in Uttar Pradesh, Baghpat, Aligarh, you'll see the caste battles, caste lines getting redrawn, and this could throw some interesting numbers purely in terms of how elections will be played. Down south, you've got that big battle in Trivandrum between Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Union Minister, taking on Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor is looking for another rerun there, and Rahul Gandhi fighting from Wayanad. Remember, a lot has changed between 2019 and 2024, and that will be what we'll be looking at when we discuss. In the eastern part of India, from Bihar, Bhima Bharti, Purnia. Remember, Pappu Yadav is the spoken about candidate, but Bhima Bharti has been given a ticket. How does she change the dynamics in Bihar? From Katihar, you've got Tariq Anwar. At the top, you've got V. Muralidharan, Union Minister, the former left Finance Minister, Thomas Isaac from Pathanamthitta, Suresh Gopi. If Kerala, BJP has to open its account, Thrissur is the place that they are looking to make great inroads. Moving to the southern part of Bangalore, Karnataka, you've got Prajwal, who is the grandson of H.D. Devagoda, D.K. Suresh, the brother of D.K. Shivkumar, the royal family there from Mysore fighting on a BJP ticket. Shobha Karanjale changing her shift, fighting from Bangalore North, and moving to last seat in West Bengal, where we got Dr. Sukanto Muzumdar fighting from Balurghat, and we can expect some interesting numbers to come our way. See, the Election Commission has been doing everything possible, especially when it comes to getting people to vote. But how do people with special needs, what are the steps that the Election Commission takes to help people with special needs? Antara Sinha has more. Take a look.
The ECI has provided all the assured minimum facilities. Now, what all really comes under the assured minimum facilities? The Election Commission of India, or the ECI, is primarily responsible for administering elections in the country. As part of its mandate of no voter to be left behind, it ensures certain minimum facilities that are provided to the voters. These include polling station accessibility, which ensures polling stations are easily accessible to all voters, including those with disabilities and the ones who have special needs. This includes providing ramps for wheelchair access, making arrangements for braille-enabled EVMs for visually impaired voters, and other necessary facilities like sign language interpreters for voters with hearing impairment. Speaking of weather conditions, recently India's Met Department predicted extreme heat wave conditions. Keeping that in mind, the ECI convened a meeting and has set up a task force to review and mitigate the impact of the heat wave on the Lok Sabha elections.
It's advisory to the voters, to the political parties, to the all stakeholders, our management of booths. So that is the first part. And second part, all the medical preparation of booths to combat heat if it is going to be different than what it was earlier.
Then there is security. With a country as vast as India, elections are a mammoth exercise, and so should be the security arrangements, be it deployment of law enforcement personnel or CCTV surveillance. In some areas, transportation is also taken care of by the ECI. It arranges and ensures voters can reach polling stations conveniently. The Commission also involves special facilities for vulnerable groups such as senior citizens, pregnant women. This may include priority queues, assistance in casting votes, and other support services tailored to the specific needs of these groups. Last but definitely not the least comes a complaint redressal mechanism. The ECI establishes mechanisms for addressing complaints and grievances related to the electoral process. Voters are provided with avenues to report any issues they encounter, and prompt action is taken to resolve these concerns to the extent possible. Well, that is all from my side today on Election Digest. Over to you.
Well, thank you, Antara, for those updates. Time now to move on and touch our base with all our reporters there covering these elections for us. They have their ears to the grounds and they get us the big stories there from the ground. Aisha joining us from Bangalore. You've got Deepika joining us from Tripura, Rama joining us from Jammu, and Yogesh Sheetal joining us from Maharashtra, the Nanded region where elections took place today. Let me first come to you, Aisha. How do you see the mood in Karnataka? Because one takes a look at the election or the voting numbers, the initial numbers that have trickled in. Numbers don't look good. So how do you see Karnataka coming out to vote in the first phase of Karnataka elections? The second phase in India, but the first phase in Karnataka.
Well, Anil, the voter turnout has slightly disappointed the EC in Bangalore as such, because a lot of arrangements were made, many convenient apps were created, so that people come out and they don't find any hassle reaching the booth. But despite that, we see that in the city, especially in Bangalore, the voter turnout was very poor, and this has really disappointed the people and also the Election Commission in Bangalore as such. But overall, it was quite good till 5 p.m. The figures we have right now on hand is about 63%, but hopefully it will be more till 6 p.m. That is one more hour of voting, because we saw a lot of people coming to the booth here. At this booth we saw people rushing in the last minute to cast their vote. So perhaps the turnout percentage will go up slightly higher, but overall in coastal Karnataka also the turnout was quite good, quite responsive there, and Mangalore has always been voting in large numbers. So coastal Karnataka has voted and come out in large numbers, but Bangalore has once again disappointed, because Bangalore always has been seen as the casual holiday crowd, and very recently Bangalore faced issues of drinking water in the state, and we saw that all these techies, all these people in South Bangalore taking to the social media and attacking the government, but when it came to the responsibility to cast their vote, they did not turn up. So this is the disappointment that we see at ground in Bangalore.
Okay, moving to Deepika joining us from Tripura. Deepika, just exactly an opposite of what one would see down south, especially from the IT capital of India. How's been the mood, the enthusiasm amongst the voters in Tripura?
Very exciting, Anil. When we talk about the statistics here, 79.55% of polling percentage has been recorded till 5 p.m. We would have increased figure here when we would have the final voting polling percentage here. But till now, when we look at the figures over here, you would remember that the West Tripura constituency had a similar sort of polling voting percentage, which was crossing 80%. And now it has already touched 79.55%, which means it would further cross this and breach the 80% mark as compared to the first phase. Now, when I'll tell you the mood of the voters. Voters were actually treating this voting session as a get-together. On the polling stations, they were having get-togethers, they were celebrating, they were distributing toffees, they were distributing food items to each other and helping each other, and also the other officials who have come here from far-off places to facilitate the polling process. So altogether, it was a very celebratory and festive mood here in East Tripura that led to the stupendous polling percentage.
Okay, let's shift to Jammu, where Rama joins us. Rama, what's the sense that you get one lone seat in Jammu? How's been the voting enthusiasm, and anything surprising that you saw?
Yes, although it's only one seat, but it is very important seat, and the atmosphere was very enthusiastic, like the first when the first phase was held, and people came out in large number in front of the booth. Since 7 a.m. there were long queues.
Okay.
So youth, first-time voters, they came in large number. There was a provision of home voting, but still the people with disability and people, senior citizens, they came out from their houses. And when I asked the question that you got a privilege by election commission, but still you are at booth. So they were saying the same thing, that it is the festival of democracy and we want to come, because we are not first time voter. Every time we want to come at the booth and we want to mark our presence over here.
Okay.
So the sense was coming out that it is a privilege, but it is a big duty also.
Okay.
If you want the future of your dreams, you have to come out, and they have their issues. They were very clear about their issues. They wanted a strong government. Development was a big issue, and they want a strong government like first phase.
Okay.
So that is the sense.
Okay, let's shift to Yogesh, who's joining us from the Nanded part of Maharashtra. Yogesh, Vidarbha, Marathwada region, the numbers don't seem to somewhere, cheer the election commission and also the political parties in the fray. These numbers, less than 60%, is that a cause of concern for all?
Anil, the figure is a bit disappointed, definitely, because if you see, only Vidarbha has crossed 55% mark, and apart from Vidarbha, all the rest 7 constituencies, we know total 8 constituencies are in the fray, and only 7 constituencies have not even secured 55% mark, so that is a bit disappointed. But it remains to be seen, because the final figure is still awaited, and I think in the next few hours the election commission will release the final turnout. But the trend what we are witnessing here is obviously a bit disappointed. Now coming to the regions, that is a matter of study, but what we could see on the ground, that is a scorching heat obviously. And also two important things I must like to say, for the senior citizen, we witnessed a lot of senior citizens turned up in a large number, and at the same time first time voters were also very excited. We had a word with some of them. They were very excited while casting their vote. So we cannot say that Election Commission didn't do something well, because Election Commission had carried out a lot of campaigns with also other state machinery and the district level stakeholders. So attempts were made. Now it remains to be seen that why the voter turnout is concerned. But coming to the entire region, the voter turnout of Marathwada and Vidarbha region had also previously not a big success as in Tripura or any other states. So it remains to be seen what will be the final turnout. But definitely all the fates of 204 candidates are sealed now.
Okay, I'll appreciate all four of you joining us this evening. Aisha joining us from Bangalore, Deepika joining us from Tripura, Rama joining us from Jammu, and Yogesh joining us from Nanded in Maharashtra. Appreciate you joining us, getting us all the latest updates as it unfolded on election voting day on the 26th of April. Well, time now to get the guests in the studios to deliberate on what's going right, what's going wrong in this phase of elections. Joining us, Akshay Raut, former Director General of the Election Commission of India, joining us. Also, Ashok Tandon, senior journalist, joining us in the studios to look forward to what's going right, what's going wrong. Let me open with Mr. Tandon. The numbers, once again, leaving you a bit disappointed, or would you say that there is no form of excitement that you see, and that's the reason why these numbers are caught in that 60 to 65% mark?
You know, even after the first round, the final figures which came much later, they were not so disappointing.
65.
Yeah, similarly, I think when the final figures of the second round will come, Election Commission, it may not be very disappointing, but the fact remains, when the elections are held in a very normal circumstances, there is nothing to, enthuse the voters to go to the polling booth with a vengeance. Now, this can happen only in two situations. One, if the people want to oust the incumbent government, they go to the polling booth with a vengeance, as we saw in 2014 elections.
Okay.
But when there is an excitement, like what happened in 2019 was, because the poll percentage went up, seats of the ruling party also went up, because there was a phenomena was related to the security of the country. The Balakot had happened, and people thought that the security of the country is very safe in the hands of the incumbent government. So the poll percentage went up and the number of seats of the ruling party went up. Now, this time round, there is no such phenomena which should be compelling the voters either to oust the government or to enhance the number of seats of the incumbent government. So the opposition apparently has failed to enthuse the people.
Okay.
The failure of the opposition to put up a united face also. People know that they cannot oust the government, and therefore, since the incumbent government is likely to win, so that has disappointed the anti-BJP voter, and at the same time, the pro-BJP voter saying that BJP is in any case coming to power. And weekend, last time also I said, the long weekend is one of the most culprits for, particularly for the first time voter, which you must have noticed what the Bangalore correspondent was saying. So this, I hope there are another 2 rounds which are going to take place, making it a long weekend.
Okay, let me also get Mr. Raut in to this deliberation. Mr. Raut, how do you see this? Is it got to do, especially with 2 problems that Mr. Tandon spoke about? One, an extended weekend, at least across 4 phases that you see in these elections, or there is no TINA factor, and that's a cause of concern both for the incumbent government as well as for the opposition.
Well, there are quite a few factors, and there is some situation in hand. Your correspondents have very rightly expressed some sentiment, and very genuine sentiments about disappointment in not great turnout. And Mr. Tandon was talking about political contestation largely. We need to understand that the whole voter turnout is factored on 2 premises. One is the electoral political contestation, about which Mr. Tandon was very rightly referring to. But I would focus a little more on the management interventions to get people in terms of good information, good motivation, and good facilitation. I think Election Commission is doing immensely on that. It goes down to the citizen Whether they are politically enthused or not enthused, that's another case. There is something called a nota as well. Just to come as a matter of right and duty, like something which is a civic duty and civic thing to do. They must come and vote, but many times they don't do, and particularly in urban centers, we are finding they fail to do. So that's disappointing, and some work must go on. I don't take the pretext of the heat. Why? Because Indian democracy is a reflection of toiling masses, people who go in hot weather to farming,
Okay.
to fishermen to the sea, and industrial worker to factories. So we can have excuses. Yes, there is a heat weather condition, hot weather condition, but that cannot be a full excuse for not turning up. There is one more thing, Anilji, which I must mention. In India, because of 2014 and 2019, the aspiration of turnout has gone up.
Okay.
If you remember the decades of elections back, the turnout was always low to moderate. It was never high. Because of certain conscious programming and interventions by Election Commission, so 2014 and 2019 saw a dramatic increase by 8%, like 66.4% and 67.4%.
True.
So now the benchmark is so high, the next elections, including this time, being seen against them.
Okay.
You know, the turnout as such, 60 to 65% by the final count is not bad. It's not bad at all.
Okay.
But we get against the high benchmark of
Okay.
2019 and 2014. So it is looking small.
Okay, the high benchmark that's been set in 2014, 2019, been difficult to emulate in these elections. We still got three correspondents now joining us. Dibendu Mandal joining us from Katihar in Bihar, Aditya joining us from Bhopal. We've got Siddharth joining us from Wayanad in Kerala, Mark joining us from Darjeeling. Let me first come to you, Dibendu. Not good numbers in Bihar yet again. Any specific reason you see? You'll all have to keep your answers short and precise. A humble request to all four.
Well, Anil, of course, I'll keep it very, very short. But, the two important reasons what I see is that firstly, it's of course because of the heat wave. And second is due to, a lot of migrant workers from Bihar travel to different parts of the country to work and to earn their livelihood. We are being told by the Election Commission, the officials here in Bihar, is that, it could be one of the reasons why Bihar has been historically seeing a very low voter turnout over the years. Today it was 54%, slight increase from the first phase, which was about 48%. It's something to be happy about, but nothing to be cheering about. But having said this, yes, heat wave and of course migrant workers from Bihar in different parts of the country, they are unable to come back to their respective cities to cast their vote is being seen as one of the other reasons for the low voter turnout. Back to you, Anil.
Okay. Siddharth joining us from Wayanad. Siddharth, how's been the battle there in Wayanad? We were speaking about a triangular contest, but how has it played out in the end?
Certainly, it's a triangular contest, Anil, and it's no more UDF versus LDF. It's also a triangular contest now with BJP coming into the fray. Today, I'm here in Wayanad. It's considered as one of the most important constituencies and keenly watched constituencies with certainly disappointing figures. Let me start with the numbers, Anil. The state voter percentage is 70.35, which was around 77% in 2019. And in Wayanad, where I'm right now, it's 72.85% as of 8:15 p.m.
Okay.
The final list is yet to come,
Okay.
but the numbers are disappointing.
Okay,
The final list will come tomorrow. We'll definitely get to see what the final tally will be.
Okay, moving to Madhya Pradesh, where we got Aditya joining us. Aditya, looking at the numbers that I have, one takes a look vis-a-vis 2019, 2024. The numbers don't look encouraging. Any particular reason that you see in Madhya Pradesh?
Mainly two reasons, Anil, we can say. One is heat wave. Another one is, the marriage season also. But we can say one more reason is that there are people think that political stability in the country. We can say there are these three reasons for decline the voting percentage. But in Madhya Pradesh overall, more than 48% voters cast their vote in Madhya Pradesh till 6 p.m. But this is not a final figure. We will wait for final figure. But the maximum voting in Madhya Pradesh in Hoshangabad
recorded in Hoshangabad, which is more than 68%, and less voting recorded in Madhya Pradesh in Rewa, which is not more than 50%. But there are 3 seats where voting percentage across 60%, which is the Hoshangabad, Satna, and Tikamgarh.
Okay.
2 important seats in this case. One is Tikamgarh, where Virendra Kumar, Union Minister Virendra Kumar, are in battle, and another seat is Khajuraho, where V.D. Sharma, BJP president, are in battle.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you joining us. Moving to Mark. Mark, good numbers there in West Bengal. Any particular reason? Because amongst the 4, you're the only one smiling.
Well, Anil, actually, if you have to put it into context, because, the first phase, West Bengal polled about over 80%, and in this phase, it's polling only about 72%. Currently, of course, the final figures have to come out. But if we look at Darjeeling in particular, in 2019, it had polled close to 84%. So it's a significant drop since then. And Darjeeling Hills in particular have polled only in the early 60s at about 5 p.m., about 62%, which implies that it is a low voter turnout. And the reasons for this, unofficially, when I've spoken to people who were polling the polling stations at the booths, they said that most people, as Dibendra was saying, they're migrant workers here. They mostly work outside Darjeeling since there are not too many job opportunities for the educated youth here. So they have to work outside, and they haven't been able to come back in time to vote this time round. So that's basically the main reason. But otherwise, we saw a lot of enthusiasm in the morning and the afternoon hours over here for polling.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Appreciate all 4. Dibendu joining us from Bihar, Siddharth joining us from Kerala, Mark joining us from West Bengal, and Aditya joining us from Bhopal. Appreciate your joining us. Mr. Tandon, a quick word, especially with regards to now. Do you feel the Election Commission is sweating? Looking at these numbers, the summer collection, I would put it that way, the summer collection not looking good.
I don't think Election Commission would be disappointed, because the Election Commission has made, I think, perfect arrangement, very elaborate. The reason for low turnout, according to me, is political. See, when there is no fight, when the foregone conclusion, people are, they get relaxed. And unfortunately, it is the situation in both the camps. The opposition has not been able to convince the people that they can oust this present government. And therefore, the dissensions within the opposition, there is no leader who has been projected, and the kind of, look at it, in Kerala, the Indi Alliance is fighting against Indi Alliance. The left front candidate is challenging. Is the Congress perhaps the most popular or the powerful leader? Rahul Gandhi, he is being challenged by the left front in Kerala. Now, what message the opposition is trying to give? So, this may be one of the reasons all over the country, people know that there is hardly any contest. On the other hand, there is a complacency factor within the pro-BJP voter also. And therefore, they think it's a foregone conclusion. So that is politically, I think that is happening across the country.
Okay, a quick word from Mr. Akshay Raut. Mr. Raut, do you feel now with 2 phases over, 33% of parliamentarians' fate being decided in these 2 phases, 190 seats over and out, is there something that the Election Commission needs to do different in the next 5 phases?
I think Election Commission is incessantly working on it. After the phase 1, there was a 4% drop. And it has worked a lot, and particularly got those people who deal with matters of hot weather conditions to huddle in Delhi and to find way out, and a lot of things are being done. You just give one symbolic piece of intervention which Commission does. They provide voting from home for 85 years plus. What more can be done by any election management body anywhere in the world? And I don't have anything much to speak in defense of people who do not vote, whether they are in city dwellers, elites, or the youth who are supposed to have the destiny of the country in their hand. All the points which Mr. Tandon is mentioning about political contestation being there, not there, those are fine. There will be situations of life, there will be heat, hot weather condition, there will be distance, there will be anything. But people failing in this, they don't have much to in their defense. Yes, one thing that your correspondents mentioned, there is a situation relating to migrant workers. And I think has to be a political consensus to build system to enable the migrant workers to vote.
Okay. Okay, that's a valid point and that needs to be pondered upon. Meanwhile, the Great Indian Election is your one-stop show on weekdays on all that matter. We finished 2 phases of election. What do we have on Monday night? Let's take a sneak peek.
Western state of Gujarat goes to the polls on May 7th. BJP's dream run for 25 seats look in control yet again. The land of Mahatma Gandhi witnesses a political battle that could redefine the world's largest democracy. Watch why Gujarat matters in 2024 on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST, only on DD India.
Well, with that, it's a wrap of this edition of the Great Indian Elections. Time for me to thank Ashok Tandon in the studios, Akshay Rao joining us. Appreciate both of you joining us on the special program. That's all we have time for. Good night. Stay safe. Take care.